It's instructive that you mention the structure. A lot of Nigerians are, well, basically providing these kinds of services in diverse fields in Nigeria to different countries or outside Nigeria. So, as you have mentioned structure, the challenges seem to be daunting. What structures can be put in place to effectively aid diaspora service exports?
The realizing it, Theophilus, is not daunting. As a matter of fact, the risk of sounding simplistic, I want to, submit that it is as easy as ABC.
Okay.
Number one, the service provider in Nigeria does not need all the big investments, to be able to do that. As a matter of fact, people now work right from their phone using their WhatsApp, application to actually, provide some of these services, as opposed to the past where you need all the big iMac, and so on and so forth to be able to get your designs done. Now, when I talk of structure, I mean that the table has got to be organized. In the past, we used to have, for instance, desk officers in Nigerian embassies abroad, where these desk officers are specifically tasked with, services to the diaspora. Now, one of those things that could be done is, reinvigorating those, diaspora desk officers in Nigerian, embassies as part of the fourth D, which is diaspora, that is officially part of Nigeria's, foreign policy. That's number one. Number two, the diaspora can then work with these fine foreign policy, foreign service officers. And one good thing about Nigeria is that we have out here in the diaspora very brilliant, young, dynamic foreign service officers who stand ready to actually facilitate inflow of economic activities in Nigeria. But I must tell you, they are very much underutilized. Now, this is one of those opportunities where they can now organize them better to identify people, receivers, customers for those services that Nigeria can export to the diaspora. And then, through that means, perhaps create, some sort of, I'm not talking of a commission or agency at this early stage, but it is not far-fetched. Countries like India actually has agency particularly responsible for service export. But Nigeria can start with, organizing this through the diaspora with the diplomatic missions playing a cardinal role in making it happen. But it should remain, a private sector-driven initiative.
And from what you have said, I could pick that this may also be some of the leading causes of brain drain. Rather than having to, export the service, you might as well just bring the individual to the country. But talk to us about some of the potential benefits that we could get from this. And perhaps this could form a larger part of our GDP.
Yes, absolutely, Olamide. The point is, making reference to the brain drain that you talked about. Now, tell me why the young man, Were, for instance, that is providing graphics design services to clients globally. Tell me what incentive will be there for that young man to want to leave Owerri, because right there, perhaps, in his mother's back room, he is earning his foreign, his foreign currency is, through the services that he delivers, because he is paid in either foreign currency or directly in Naira. Speaking to how this will add to the economy, of course, foreign currency earning will rise as a consequence of that. Number two, young people gets then the opportunity to utilize their talents, as startups, self-employed, young people, and Thirdly, Nigeria, as a consequence of that, we gain more, acceptability as a country that is ready for business because they see actually what is being provided. And let me say this, it is not new. There are companies, indigenous companies in Nigeria that actually train young IT experts and then subcontract them to companies, IT companies, artificial intelligence companies across the globe. But these are all individual initiatives. I'm saying that when government comes in, bring in their incentives and negotiate good working conditions for them, I believe that it will gain a lot more traction, and of course, like you mentioned, it will add to GDP growth for Nigeria.